A win is a win, right? The Dallas Cowboys have made a habit out of losing close games, so they deserve some credit for pulling out a gritty win over the New York Giants in a hostile road atmosphere. Wins are normally followed by celebrations, but Cowboys fans found themselves with bated breath waiting for an update on Micah Parsons' injury. Parsons got his foot rolled up on in the fourth quarter while rushing Daniel Jones and was writhing in pain on the ground before he walked off under his own power. Parsons was quickly carted to the locker room with no shoe on his left foot. Maybe Parsons is just that dialed in, but his body language was not that of a player who sustained a major injury. While Parsons is likely headed for further testing, he told Dak Prescott after the game, "I'll be good," per The Athletic's John Machota. Parsons' X-rays were negative, according to reporters on the scene. For now he is just icing to reduce swelling and he will undergo an MRI in Dallas on Friday. The All-Pro defender is not out of the woods yet, but these are all positive signs. ESPN's Jeremy Fowler noted that Parsons was walking around the locker room with a slight limp. At the very least, it seems that Parsons has avoided a serious injury. Parsons was even able to catch up with the media after the win. In good spirits, Parsons said he's gonna try to get back next week. By the time he departed the locker room, he just had a wrap around his ankle. "We are only getting breadcrumbs right now, but that is generally the case with in-game injuries. The MRI will reveal the extent of what Parsons is dealing with and whether he can play next week. He will do everything in his power to suit up against the Steelers, but the important thing is Dallas having Parsons for the long haul this season. If that means giving the ankle a week to rest, then so be it." Parsons hasn't posted the numbers he would have hoped to start the season, but he's played exceptional in every game. Last week, Parsons had the second highest pass rush win percentage and pressure percentage among all pass rushers, per PFF. The sanity of Cowboys fans hinges on Parsons' MRI, but in the meantime a Dallas win and an encouraging update on No. 11 should be enough to allow fans to sleep easy tonight. We could be in for a long season of Dallas Cowboys football, folks. For the third straight week, the Cowboys played an ugly brand of football and they were lucky to escape MetLife Stadium with a win over the New York Giants. The Cowboys likely would have lost if they played a halfway decent team, but all that matters right now is the status of Micah Parsons, who was one of several Dallas players to make an unwanted appearance in the locker room. That list included DeMarcus Lawrence, who left with a foot injury and did not return, and Trayvon Diggs, who left briefly for an 4 after seemingly cramping on the field. Meanwhile, Parsons was carted to the locker room late in the fourth quarter with his left shoe off. Cowboys fans were out in full force in East Rutherford, but you couldn't hear a pin drop in the away stadium when Parsons was slow to get up. Parsons got his leg rolled up on by Giants guard Greg Van Roten as he rushed on center John Michael Schmitz Jr. Parsons was able to walk to the sideline, but he rolled around in pain before the medical staff treated him on the field. The Athletic's John Machota believes Parsons is dealing with an ankle injury. "We will have updates on Parsons once they are made available, but the unknown severity of his injury casts a dark cloud on an otherwise successful night for the Cowboys." While Mike McCarthy's offensive scheme was once again nauseating and Mike Zimmer's defense needs to improve its tackling, the run defense came to play. Motsy Smith and DeMarvion Overshown in particular were catalysts on the defensive side of the ball. The unit as a collective allowed long drives all night but tightened up in the red zone and didn't allow a single touchdown. Again, though, this team isn't going anywhere if Parsons isn't healthy. The pass rush was once again non-existent and when it showed signs of life, Parsons was responsible. He even generated pressure on the play he got injured even though he was being held by Michael Schmitz. Ultimately, the Cowboys are back in the win column and improved to 2-2. Parsons now has 10 days to rest before they play the Steelers on Sunday Night Football. It wasn't pretty, but the Dallas Cowboys got back in the win column on Thursday night. A win is a win at the end of the day, but this team still has a lot to clean up. The biggest concern, though, is the status of Micah Parsons, who was carted off with an apparent ankle injury. Parsons got his leg rolled up on from behind while rushing the passer. He was in noticeable pain on the ground before he walked off on his own power. He was treated on the sideline briefly before he was carted to the locker room without a shoe on his left foot. The X-rays came back negative, but Parsons will undergo an MRI on Friday to determine the severity of the injury. Parsons was in good spirits after the game and said he will try to play next week against the Steelers. That's commendable from Parsons, and nothing less than we would expect, but it's hard to be optimistic after footage of No. 11 getting off the team plan after it landed back in Dallas emerged. Parsons is seen walking with a noticeable limp. He had a lot of trouble putting pressure on his ankle. There is two ways to look at this. On one hand, Parsons is not wearing a brace or boot to support his ankle. Assuming the bone is swollen, it's no surprise that he is walking gingerly. It's encouraging that Parsons is wearing his sneakers. No crutches. No support from teammates. At the same time, though, Parsons is having serious trouble walking. While that's not a huge surprise being the injury is so fresh, it is hard to watch this video and feel optimistic about his chances of playing next Sunday night against the 3-0 Steelers. While Mike McCarthy declined to elaborate on Parsons' injury, nobody within the organization has expressed major concern, including team reporters. Trayvon Diggs caught up with Parsons and offered an encouraging update. "I was just making sure he was straight," Diggs said, via the USA Today. "That's my best friend. I just wanted him to be good. But he's going to be okay." Around-the-clock treatment and rest will help the ankle heal, but Cowboys fans will be waited with bated breath for the MRI results on Friday. Parsons will walk better once the swelling goes down, but given the fickle nature of ankle sprains there's no telling how much time, if any, that he'll miss.